Is
point.
there any pressure
Yes.
because your parents have done something?
Yes. You can create that pressure on your own. It's not like other people are putting the pressure on.
So business always looks glamorous from outside, but it has its own ups and downs. So have you, in your entrepreneurial journey so far, have you seen any major ups and downs?
Sometimes I'm seen as an intern during those early days, and sometimes I was seen as a partner.
Correct.
Now, it would be very confusing. Yes.
So do you see any advantage of being a second generation leader?
What I would say is there's a treasure trove of knowledge also. There's amazing level of access that you get to these minds.
You said instinctive decision. Does it backfire at times?
Yeah.
But then you have to have
But
a
that's
risk
why
appetite.
Yeah, risk appetite.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to deal with the consequences and accept the responsibility. And that's how your instincts are also improved.
Correct. Welcome to this podcast today. Today we have a special guest who has not just taken the legacy to the next level, but also created a new enthusiasm in the business. Today we have Mr. Siddhant Buddhadev with us from the Exasource International Private Limited, and we are getting into this deep conversation about value system, what a second generation leaders go through, what are the merits, what are the demerits, what excites them, and how their usual day looks like. So let's begin. Welcome, Siddhant. Welcome to this podcast.
Thank you for having me here.
So Siddhant, second generation leadership, we've been listening about it, talking about it, how it has unfolded for you from starting a career with a job and then getting into a business.
Yeah, so I think there was one thing before that also.
Okay.
It was business, job, and business.
Okay, that's interesting.
Actually, it goes back to the university days when I had started a startup
Okay.
with a close friend of mine from university in around, I think, 2018 when we
Okay.
started the business. We called it Calobox.
Okay.
We started a healthy snacking startup and got a lot of experience from that. It was our first entrepreneurship experience for me also and for my friend. And actually, he still tells everybody कि सिद्धांत ने मेरे में entrepreneurship का कीड़ा डाला है.
Okay.
Because I always had that thing that university जा रहे तो कुछ करके आना, something
new,
something exciting, maybe live a startup life and something like that while you're studying as well.
Okay.
So we did that. Had ups and downs in that business. Gained a lot of practical knowledge, what the ground realities are in any business. And eventually, right before COVID, around COVID time, when it was going to be on the breakout, that's when we had to shut down the business. It was a good experience. And then during the time that we were managing things in our startup, we were also studying in university, and at the same time, then there was our job as well.
Okay.
In between.
Okay.
So there was 2-3 things going on at the same time. So all in all, I would say that yes, I think while I was working a job in New York, I think that brought a lot of discipline in me.
Okay.
During that time, I don't think I appreciated the job that I was doing because of the working hours that were there. From 5:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening. So that was new for me. And normally, when you go for a job, you realize that it's a 9 to 5, but no, because we were on Wall Street. So those are very long hours normally. It comes with the, so I think while I was doing the job, I hated it, but in hindsight, now that I look back at it, today I'm able to put 12, 13, 14 hours a day in our own family business, my own family business, without breaking a sweat. So it has contributed a lot, I would say, in its own ways.
Okay.
But it was always going to be a business.
Okay. So this business or entrepreneurship, was it there from the beginning, or something happened and you got a shift and then you started? Because you said that you did a business
Yeah.
while you were at the university, and
And
then
then job
again into business. So how things have unfolded for you there? Like, was that always there in your mind that I want to get into business because the family is into business?
Yes, I think mainly what happened was, yes, my dad being the first generation entrepreneur in our family, one of them. I've seen, like, when he started his first business, I wasn't even born that time. So
Correct.
he started his business before his wedding even.
Okay.
So, like, now that when I look back at it, I see that there were the struggle days in the family. But interesting part is that mom, dad, they never let you feel that, it's always fun. But that's besides the point. I've seen mom and dad, how much they put up and put in every day in building a business. And somewhere or the other, as a kid, you observe.
Correct.
And you don't really give it a thought when you're observing as a kid. But when you grow older, those memories are still there.
Correct.
So I think that was inspiring.
Okay.
When I grew up, 11th, 12th was the time when I took commerce as well. And that's when I realized I love business, or at least studying the commercial things like accounts, business, all those things. And I took keen interest in that. And at the same time, I wanted to study in the US.
Okay.
That was for sure. And dad was also very excited to hear that. And one thing that he also wanted was, said, when you're going to the US, do something, like you can live
Make it big.
You can live your startup life, or whatever you want to do. I'll support you no matter what. So I was like, yeah. And somewhere or the other, I also wanted to create a name for
Fame.
Not fame.
Name.
Create a name in the sense कि ऐसे ही नहीं कि भावेश भाई का बेटा है, kind of a
Like
thing.
Siddhant.
This is Siddhant Buddhadev, like that.
Okay.
That was also one of the motivating factor to start a business while I was in university, to have something maybe separate also from the family business at that early stage, because I know what was going to come next when I eventually joined. Eventually, I was definitely going to join the family business, but I wanted to branch out a little bit, explore myself, have my own experiences, and then I can join. That was my intention.
One thing you said, that you wanted to have a separate like brand Siddhant, right? Was it really difficult to separate out and have your own name, when it comes to creating a business, separate from what your parents have done it already and they are very successful?
Yeah.
So is it really difficult to do it? Because then you have a legacy there.
It depends. It depends which geography you're in, or what region you are in, or what field you're in. It wasn't difficult when I did that first business. Yes, the parents' network and everything helps in terms of finding the right vendors or manufacturers who can support the business. So that was there. But other than that, I don't think it was difficult in that stage. I think it is more about when you eventually join the family business, is when you have to chart your own path and also try and create your own space within the family business.
But is there any pressure? Yes. Because your parents have done something,
yes,
and so you cannot go below what your parents have created. You have to go above than that. So is there a pressure that you feel?
Not in the sense of below or above or something like that. Not in that sense. But pressure is more like it's your internal thought process. You can create that pressure on your own. It's not like other people are putting the pressure on you. You feel that others are looking at you in that way, that you have a lot of pressure, and that's how the pressure builds up mentally. But it's your own doing, creating that pressure. And when that pressure comes up, there are only two ways things can go. One is either it drives you, motivates you, makes you a visionary or an ambitious guy to achieve your goals, to utilize the platform that you've been given and take it to the next levels, right? It either works in that way, or the second option is you just crumble under pressure.
So it's all about channelizing the pressure in the right direction.
Exactly.
Right. So business always looks glamorous from outside, but it has its own, ups and downs. So have you, in your entrepreneurial journey so far, have you seen any major ups and downs?
Yeah. So, once I joined the business, so we have businesses in Africa and in India, as you are aware. I used to travel a lot between West Africa and India. Both are different businesses, and both different businesses being at different sizes and scales and types of businesses. So, you have to become very versatile. So that is a good thing that being in business environment teaches you. You get that independent thing to choose where you want to go, what you want to be, and what you want to do, which business you want to choose. So we had that liberty, which we're grateful for. But when I was doing that, trying to manage both sides of things in my own roles in those businesses, it was getting very difficult to manage, to the point where I started feeling that I'm not doing enough in either of the businesses.
Okay.
That was my first experience when it comes to like Calo Foods was an experience between managing a business in India and studying
in US.
This was playing your part in both businesses simultaneously, which are 5,000 kilometers apart, with a 5.5 hour time difference as well. So but you're doing a lot. Like you're putting in all those hours, you're finishing the tasks, everything. But I was getting those constant feeling कि नहीं ये काम miss हो जा रहा है. This is missing out. This I'm missing out on. This is what I'm missing out on. I think that was one of the lows as well. And plus, there are different stakeholders in both businesses, right?
Correct.
So, sometimes I'm seen as an intern during those early days, and sometimes I was seen as a partner.
Correct.
Now, it would be very confusing. These are all the lows that I'm pointing out. That I would get confused कि भाई एक side पे partner भी बोल रहे हो, but then the other side we are also being considered as an intern. Feels weird.
Correct.
I understand where they're coming from, but it was a little disheartening at that point. Like decide what you want to do, and I'll work accordingly. So that was something as well. And moreover, those first 3 years, I learned all different aspects of the business. Like I said, procurement, logistics, finance, business development, operations, everything, right? In both businesses. So you become a jack of all trades, which you don't really appreciate in that moment.
Correct.
It's a weird feeling. You feel like कि हाँ मैं सब कुछ करता हूँ. नहीं, but तू करता क्या है? You don't have something concrete to say. But people don't realize that how much you're doing, right? Like running a business is the easiest way to say something.
Yeah, that's why it's glamorous.
Sure. But they don't know what's happening, right?
So, does it create self-doubts also?
Yes.
It does?
Of course.
Because when you join an already successfully running a business, and then you put your two legs into different businesses, it looks very easier from an outsider, an outsider. But when you are into that particular time, you feel that there are a lot of challenges,
Yes.
right? So have you faced any such challenges as a, becoming a part of a successfully running business?
Challenges about, look, you have in one business, I was given a good team,
Hmm.
an established team that was there.
Hmm.
Now you have to leverage their expertise, their skills, build on that team, and then grow the business, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, you're working with your dad, so you're working together to grow the business and build it. The other business where I was a part of, you are doing anything and everything.
Hmm.
Something that my dad proudly says, peon to president,
Correct.
right? So I've had that experience also in a running business. It was
Hmm.
successfully running business, although the size was smaller,
Hmm.
but still it was successful. And in that, I got to build a team from scratch.
Yep.
That had its own challenges. It felt like a startup environment,
Right.
but you get a lot of freedom. You are creating the processes essentially.
Correct.
Whereas in a certain system, in a different business which is already established, you face a little bit of reluctance or a resistance.
Hmm.
Why? Because while you are getting a platform, processes are already set.
Hmm.
So when you see gaps in the process and you try to suggest, you do feel face resistance. You're like, कि भाई
Correct.
3-4 साल से तो कर रहे हैं अभी सब, इतने सालों से तो यही प्रोसेस है, तो अभी चेंज क्यों करना?
Correct.
When people say,
Yeah, yeah.
why fix something that's not broken?
Yeah. And then it has, people have a lot of expectations also,
Yes.
right? So, but I must say that must be some advantages also being a part of the second generation business where the businesses are already successful.
Yes.
So, do you see any advantage of being a second generation leader?
100%. I am grateful for it. I'm proud of it. What our first generation family members have achieved and given us the platform, it's amazing.
Hmm.
There's a lot to learn from them. Even today, we are every day learning. In fact, when I feel that even when I cross 50 or 60, whatever, I'll still be learning
Correct.
from the first generation members. But what I would say is there's a treasure trove of knowledge also.
Hmm.
There's amazing level of access that you get to these minds.
Correct.
First point.
Hmm.
The type of conversations that you're having about not just the world but business,
Hmm.
you realize that you're just 25, 26, but you're still talking at the big boys table.
Hmm.
So that's a perk or a privilege that you get, and you get to contribute to the discussions. They never make you feel unheard.
Hmm.
And that's a specialty that our first gen members have.
Correct.
They've never made us feel that, no, you don't know how this is done, this is not like this. No.
Hmm.
Okay, tell me, but we'll tell you how it has happened, why it has happened, and you can then give a plan.
Got it. So, when you say that these kind of discussion happens with the big boys on the table,
Yeah.
do you think that people who do not have these kind of opportunities also can be successful in the businesses?
Yes,
They can be.
the paths, it might take them longer,
Correct.
but in the end, it's all about your ambition and drive,
Right.
right? I mean, yes, another advantage that we got was the platform.
Hmm.
That's why I said at a young age you get the seat at the table for such big discussions. It comes with the fact that you're a second gen member.
It's a bundle.
Yeah.
So
And we need to accept it.
correct. So this bundle has both the things, like people have a lot of expectations from you from day one.
Yeah.
Because when you are not from a family business, then people understand कि अभी शुरू हुआ है, 1000 दिन तो जाएगा. But when you join a family business which is already running successfully, then so that's the, I think, challenge I think I see here. Tell me, what is the typical day in Siddhant's life? Siddhant's usual day.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I wake up early, 6:37. Definitely, get ready for work immediately. And I have this thing that as soon as I get ready for work, I can't sit still at home. It's just something, I think, I don't know, I think it's come from dad, but I need to get to the office as soon as possible. So as soon as I get ready, I pray, I meditate
Okay.
15 minutes before work. Then I leave for office, and yeah, the day starts at 8:30
Wow.
for me at the office. I like to be the first one in the office. I think that comes back from the New York job days, where I would be the first one in the office because of the reports that I had to make. And yeah, so the reason why I get to the office early also is because I get that 1.5 hour to myself to prepare for the day.
Correct.
You know, what is to be done, what is not to be done, what was yesterday's tasks which were pending, finish it off, go through all the emails you got at night.
Correct.
So all those things are taken care of in that first 1.5 hour in the morning. And then 5:36 I leave for to work out. 45 minutes
In the evening.
In the evening, a good proper workout, and yeah, then back home.
Okay. So what are the typical dinner table conversations at your place?
What did you do today?
In the
Pretty much.
business?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
What are your plans for the weekend, or what are your plans tomorrow? It's a normal conversation that flows.
Like every other family
everyone says what they did today. And we just get to know about each other's day, how it went. Grandparents are also with us, so we spend some time with them. What did they do? We take interest in that.
Okay.
And yeah, just spending time with family. And then sometimes, yeah, so that is for the dinner table, as you would say.
Conversation. So I had met one of the other leaders, and they said that in a week we have one business detox dinner where we don't talk about business. Do you think that that actually helps?
Yes, and that was started by my mother.
Okay.
As a rule, around 2 years back now.
Okay.
Where, yes, during lunch.
Okay.
Back then when we were at the old house and the old office, so it was very close by. So we would come home for lunch, and whenever we came home for lunch, dad and I would discuss, okay, as soon as we get to the office we have to do this, or we would discuss about some other strategic topic at the table while we are having lunch. So mom has completely eliminated that, and if she hears us talking about business, because she knows what's happening,
correct,
she immediately says, guys,
you need to
this
stop.
is not happening here. You're at home at the table, stop it. You talk with the family, spend time here. But it does help. It has changed a lot. It is a good detox. We are having that detox every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
But not at dinner time, at a lunchtime.
No, lunchtime now it has come back.
Okay.
Because we are having lunch at the office.
Right.
But dinner table, yes, we don't talk about work.
Okay. Every leader has its own style of managing, the business.
Right.
What is your style of management?
I would say management is one thing. I would look at it as leadership. My style of leadership is more, and leadership should always be, what I'm going to say now is about empowering. One thing that I believe our first generation and my dad as well, that I've seen him do in all his businesses that he has been successful, he focuses a lot and heavily that when he's starting from 0 to 1 in any business, he has by his side the successor who he trains and molds and grooms. And within 2 years' time, he knows, he has that vision, he can see that. And he picks the guy or the woman and then grooms them to the point where they can run the business once it's profitable as well. Right? So I think that empowering and training and putting your trust in someone who can take the lead after you is something, essentially one word for that would be delegation.
Correct.
But conscious delegation.
Correct.
You need to make an active effort. It can't be just haphazard. So I think that is something I resonate with.
Okay.
But I've gone even more
Okay.
ahead, because I feel it's about, as a leader, while you're empowering them to create and generate new generation of leaders, it's important to give them guardrails. Create budgets,
Correct.
create guardrails, and then empower them through autonomy in decision making. Let them make their own decisions. Management cannot be involved for everyday decision making. Every day you come for management approval for smallest of things, that's wrong.
Correct.
So that is what I abide by, and I feel that holds the emerging leaders or the next line of leaders accountable. Because you have given that trust, you've given them accountability and responsibility. Now it's the trust is theirs to break, not ours.
Correct. So that was so leading to that conversation is leading to my next question, that, and your father may not like this question, but
Okay.
what are the mistakes that you see that your father has done and then you don't want to repeat, or probably you want to repeat but in a better way, or you just want to take it in a different way altogether?
So I would tell you that there's this one venture capital firm. Just giving an example to start the convo or the answer. It's a very big venture capital firm. I don't want to name them.
Sure.
But on their website, they mention specifically their failures, as in which business deals or which investment deals they didn't go, they didn't invest in, which startups they didn't, and they turned out to be billion-dollar companies.
Okay.
So relating this analogy to this, I would say that I learn from dad's successes every day, but I've the impact also that comes from his failures. Those are very limited failures that he's had, but that leave an impact on you, because now you've seen, okay, and you also study, why did this happen? You ask him the question, why did this happen? Why do you think this was the case, or this was the case? This was before I joined the business. So I've seen both the good sides and the failures aspect as well. I've learned a lot from that, to the point that I think and this is, I think, a first gen, second gen thing.
Correct.
Wherein second gen tends to be focusing on 1 to n. Right?
Correct.
First gen is all about 0 to 1.
0 to 1.
They love the thrill of 0 to 1. That comes with its own risk appetite.
Correct.
The risk taking capacities. Today I can say that there's a difference between dad's risk appetite still and my risk appetite.
Absolutely.
And I would say that is the main, I think, thing that I've learned about. Okay. Yes, you can trust your gut or instincts, because in business, in the end, it will always be that.
Correct.
I've learned that you can do as much analysis as you want, but in the end, it's your gut that is going to take an informed decision.
Yeah.
So I think what I learned is to do more informed and analytical process, follow an SOP while taking these business decisions or entering. And I think obviously dad, for him, it's natural. The analysis is just faster than mine, because he comes with a lot of experience. So he's able to take decisions faster.
So we have heard this term called analysis paralysis. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a real thing.
It is?
Yeah, because I have had those 1 or 2 moments where I went through that in the last 5 years, and it wasn't a good feeling or a good experience, because there was a lot of delay in decision making, which was wrong. So I have found the right balance, I would say, between taking instinctive decisions and also taking informed decisions.
Okay.
So there's instinctive and informed, both.
You said instinctive decision. Does it backfire at times?
Yeah.
But then you have to have a risk appetite.
Yeah, risk appetite.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to deal with the consequences and accept the responsibility, because the buck stops with you.
Right.
And that's how your instincts are also improved.
Correct.
If you don't make mistakes, then I'm sorry, but you can't be perfect.
Right. And as people say, perfection is a myth.
It is.
Okay. Every family has a value, right? What about family business? Because see, in the world, as one of the magazine I was reading, it says around 72% businesses are family business. So does family values and business values resonate with each other?
Yes, definitely.
Do you have some of these values which are common in your family as well as in the business?
I think I would say some of the key
Okay.
would be respect,
Mhm.
trust, integrity, and empathy.
Okay.
These are and also I would say empowering and encouraging
Hmm.
the ones who are next in line, or the next gen leaders.
Hmm.
Next gen leaders don't necessarily mean next gen in terms of family.
Hmm.
Next gen leaders can be, for example, today, the leaders who we have
Hmm.
in our business here in India, they have been with us when I wasn't there,
Okay.
right? So they've been with dad, and now
Correct.
I've joined the team. That's how it has happened. But the emerging leaders who are reporting to them,
Hmm.
we call them next gen or the emerging leaders. So I have to be there, in the sense that,
Correct.
okay, as they also climb the ladder towards leadership positions in the future, I think I would be there as well. So
Okay.
I think that encouraging and empowering is a very critical value that
Okay.
we carry.
Okay.
But the first four are
Are-
very important. That is the core rules of the road.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiables.
Amazing. Okay, so now this is the most exciting part of this podcast, where I'll ask you quick, rapid questions, and I want you to answer whatever comes in your mind at that
Sure.
moment. No thinking, nothing.
I know how it works.
Right? It works.
It's rapid fire. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rapid
That's
fire.
fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. The first question: one book that you recommend to everyone.
The Outsiders.
Okay. One value that you will never compromise on.
I would say integrity.
What about the rest of the 4, 5?
I won't compromise on that, but this is close to heart.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Excel sheet or whiteboard?
Excel sheet. I'm a finance guy.
Family time or a solo time?
Family time.
And I think that's all. I mean, that's the 3, 4 questions that I had.
Great. That was good.
Do you want to answer something that I have not asked, or do you have a message for our viewers and listeners about the entrepreneurship, especially for those who are young entrepreneurs getting into the business, right? And they want to create a legacy which they don't have, right? I'm not talking about the business owners who already have a legacy created, right?
Okay.
So any message for our viewers and listeners?
I have messages for someone who are first generation entrepreneur also,
Okay,
and a second gen family business entrepreneur.
perfect.
But one thing that is common to both of them would be, to both the groups, would be focus on personal compounding
Okay,
as a mode of growing yourself personally and professionally. By that I mean, constantly, if you don't personally compound your growth, your organization's growth will not grow as well.
okay,
When you are at the helm of an organization, you need to personally grow as well. And there are various things that you can do. It's not that complicated.
okay,
Start doing some meditation
okay,
every day. I think that brings in a lot of clarity, calmness, and thought to your decision making. It helps.
I'm sure.
Read books,
Okay,
definitely. Keep up to date with what's happening around the world and how it impacts you. Be mindful of that.
okay,
These are some of the things that I do. And always be open to learning from the people who are reporting to you.
okay.
Never keep yourself above that.
Any business book you consider as a Bible for you, and you may want to suggest to our listeners and viewers?
So as a Bible, sure, for the today's youth or entrepreneurs, I think the last book that I read was my father's book, which is called The Entrepreneurship Epidemic, The Fever and Its Cure. This was the second time that I read it because I wanted to go through it again. He wrote this during the time of COVID.
Okay.
And the reason was because obviously there was a lockdown, and the man, he can't sit still. He likes to take up new projects whenever something like that happens. So he was just wondering, like, he was reminiscing about his own journey, the family's journey, his journey with mom and everything. And then that's when he realized what a journey it has been, because dad always says it's about the journey and not the destination, right?
Correct.
So I would say the reason why he wrote that book was really because he was coming across and meeting so many people, especially young, would-be entrepreneurs,
Okay.
who were sitting on the fence.
Okay.
Like they were scared because there was a comfort of job, but they wanted to change the world, or they wanted to start something of their own, be their own boss, but they were scared, so they were sitting on the fence. This book is written for fence sitters.
Okay.
And for them to get more motivated by reading this book. And it just shows about every chapter is a learning, a business learning, where dad states a case from his own business life.
Okay.
And it also highlights some mistakes.
Okay.
But how he has built multiple businesses, that's what it highlights.
Okay. So that's what something you recommend.
And the way that he also says it, you feel like business is not rocket science, it's simple.
It's simple.
But that's his specialty,
Correct.
He makes everything very simple, so to speak. Yeah.
All right, Siddhant, thank you very much for this inspiring conversation. I'm very much sure that our viewers and listeners will have their own takeaways.
Hopefully.
I always believe that the books that you recommend, those are not the only books that people should read, but these are probably, if they are not reading on the regular basis, these are probably a start that they can have. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And looking forward to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.